Okay, so the thing that had the some really useful bits and bobs in there. My favourite little box that I had with me. I'll just get this secure. Right then. Oh yeah, and some amalgamating tape, which is good. Right, this here. Just a box. Right, leeches. 4 punch repairs. I also had the slime scabs. Bang them in there. More leeches. I just like leeches. They could be useful for your frame as well, you know, put them on your frame, stop cable rub. Lithium grease, little tube of that. The chain was squeaking a bit the other day, so I didn't have any grease or anything like that, everything was shut. So what I did is, I didn't have any oil, so I just used a bit of that lithium grease, small tube, and that was enough to stop the squeaking. The gear change was a lot smoother then. Like I say, spare links, yeah. Spare chain links, have a few of them. So 10-speed ones, those. Spare rear derailleur pulley wheels, but like I say, this is just all sorts of random bolts, nuts and bolts, 10 mils, Allen bolts, all sorts of random. These I took off the front bag, which I've now removed. And yeah, that's an attachment for the Allen key set for an 8mm from a 6mm. What are they called now? I've got these nipples, are they? The ends for the cables. A spare. See this? These ones here, I think. Them off the rear derailleur. The aluminium piece which goes from the bike to the derailleur. The hanger, yeah, the hanger. They're the spare ones for that, just in case you lose them. Washers and stuff. 10mm. Also some spare ones of these for your panniers. On my frame, one side doesn't have thread. It hasn't been threaded yet. So rather than just putting that one there. Rather than just putting the bolt through the rear pannier into the frame, which secures it, I use a smaller diameter thread which goes through, and then I attach a bolt on the other side, and that holds it in place for now until I get around to threading the frame. Some like little clips and, like I say, random fixtures and fittings, washers. So yeah, definitely carry that, because you know, the other day I was riding and suddenly the gears wouldn't go in, and I was wondering why it was. I thought maybe it's just the cable needed tightening. So what I did is I looked, this was missing. I had that one, and see that one? Trying to get it on the focus now. Yeah, that one's actually missing. So out of 4 here, I had 4 of these in total, 3 was missing. So that whole thing was flapping about the this gear here. So I went in my box of tools and found some spare ones of these and put them in and carried on. So yeah, all these little things that you don't think about, you never know. See here, could come loose, you could lose that, you know. It's just little things like that. I changed one link the other day. So yeah, that's it. There's not really much more to say. Okay, we have got the front bag, yeah. So yeah, tools, repairs. Next is this bag here, which I've just okay. Make a bit of space for this bag. Okay then. Okay, so what I have here, right, tablet, also useful because obviously bringing a laptop or a computer would be quite a pain. Torch, really good torch, like a diving torch. I could have done with that the other night when I was coming back in the fog, but I couldn't be bothered to dig it out. I bring two spare, like 2 gloves, 2 sets of gloves. Yeah, so gloves, all sorts of random brochures of places and stuff which I pick up. Also have maps in there which are useful. Some creamer, some like basically dried milk. Another set of sunglasses, polarised ones, if it's really that bad, but I don't really like wearing sunglasses because I think they're a bit of an obstruction. In the evenings, in France it was quite a lot of UV, so I used them then. Again, a little light. For the tablet, mug for my drinks, tourist guide for, where is this for? Nonce. Phrasebook and that. These are sort of like personal things. These, I just bought these the other day for like 40 cents. They're just basically for the cables. Put them in the, I'll put them in my repair kit. I'll put these in here with that, little random bits, useful. Again, translation guide, iPod, backup little MP3 player, which yeah, is okay. Guides, passport obviously, like a diary, like a book to write stuff in, useful things, sort of like checklists or names, addresses, also useful. This is like my little guide that if I learn some languages I put them in there. So yeah, if I learn some basic language, like how to say like white tea, how to say thanks, yeah, anyway. Toilet, phone, I like these cheap phones, 31-day standby, can't go wrong. Don't need an iPod or an iPhone, so I meant. This here was from the old bag which I've now removed. Put the map in there, but never used a map. I think I use it to navigate myself out of the town. Some change, I don't like change, it makes too much noise, and put it in the bag. Battery, spare phone battery, found that a while back, just charged it up and put it in there. That's technically another 31-day standby. Plaster and battery, spare battery for the other torch, for the front light. That's that bag there, empty, right? I have got, so for technology and gadgets, I have got 2 of these phones. I just like these cheap phones. I mean, £6, £7 each, 31-day standby, really basic. It's a phone, does what it's meant to, no camera, nothing like that. You have got Snake on it, so if you get really bored. Okay, so now we come back down to navigation and what I use. Garmin 800, which is my main computer. It's for my other bike, really, like, so I'll just run that to record my whole route. This here is the Tora, which I don't really use it for navigation. I have that as a standby, as a backup to record my route. My main navigation is a Microsoft phone, Lumia. It has got a thing called Easy Maps. So yeah, that's it. I have a Topiak holder. The battery's going to die soon on this camera, but yeah, so that's what I have, Garmin 800, that. But my main navigation, I use the Easy Maps in walking mode, and if it sends me down to some forest or somewhere bad, I go back into the car mode, get me back out to the road, or look for an alternative. The good thing about that is you can download the maps to the phone and then use it in flight mode, which saves you on battery and also doesn't cost you roaming. However, I think they're going to stop the Easy Maps soon, and instead it's going to have to be using the Microsoft Maps, which is installed on the phone. So similar, and you can still use walking mode. Anyway, battery's about to die. That there is just for like the camera, like I say. Usually I'd use it for my like fuel, some food, some snacks on my road bike. But yeah, so that is it. That's the bike. That compass, never really used it. Pretty stupid, really. But hey, used a bell once, I think. So yeah, that's it. That's all the gear, and I'm gonna go out soon. So you see, there's a lot of gear all laid out here, and that all fits into that bike. And I do have a few more things as well which go into it, but just to give you an idea, if you pack things correctly, you can yeah, you'll be fine. So I came down from Plymouth to Royan. I think maybe I've done about, I don't know, I was doing about 80 miles a day some days. So between 40 and 80 miles a day with all this gear. And I had no problems really, apart from a few little problems with the bike. One, chain link repair. The pannier rack at the front was giving me problems, both of them, which I've bodged up. The third thing, what was the third thing? Oh yeah, that was it, the bolt going on there, which I changed. No punctures. I did check the bolts once in a while, every other day, you know, just to tighten them all up, make sure they're all good. And I helped a guy with his puncher on the ferry, and he had the wrong pump with him, so that was good. Anyway, that's it. That's my my little brief. So we're going to go out now and pack this away. Goodbye.